Hey everyone, Once Bitten here with the Battle Report. This is the same Empire list I've been using. I am prepping for a tournament, and I'm facing a demon army, which is kind of a unique build. It has no magic, which I think is interesting because demons have the Reign of Chaos table, which functions kind of like a magic phase that can hurt you. I mean, it can hurt the demons as well. Um, but yeah, I mean, obviously demons don't have scrolls, but now he doesn't even have a level 4 or even a +2 to his rolls. So very risky build in that way, but it's still got a couple skull cannons and it can be effective in combat. So I was really looking forward to this game, see how this list can handle some of the challenges of the demon list. So on the far right, he's got a unit of blood crushers, and one thing I didn't realize about that, I didn't realize the armor save was just 4 up. That's just awful. But blood crushers, and behind him there's a model that's his messenger. I think my opponent gave up hope of his messenger getting across the board, so he's just going to try to keep that guy alive. He's got a skull cannon, his first unit of bloodletters. I think this one has like 18 in there. Then he's got a soul grinder, and behind the soul grinder he's got a demon prince model on a larger base, and that is the Wrath of Khorne bloodthirster. We were playing closed lists, so I didn't know what his upgrades were at the time, but he has +1 wound and always strikes first. Next to him is another unit of bloodletters. This one I think has 25 strong, and there's a Herald of Khorne in there, BSB, and again I didn't know this, but he's got the sword that ignores armor saves. There's another skull cannon, and then he's got a unit of flesh hounds and reserves. And that's it. I mean, relatively few drops. I've got Captus way out here on the side. My thinking here is that I think I trust Captus into the flank of those bloodletters or blood crushers, or I'm happy to use him to get his messenger because there's a fair amount of points there, and either one I'll be happy with. Then I've got my unit of halberdiers in bus formation, two detachments of 5 archers. In the top right, I've got level 4 metal. In the bottom left, but out of this picture, I've got my level 1 Lord of Heavens, and he has a scroll. I've got my cannon. Then I have my unit of knights. I think I have 12 in there. And in with them, I have my general, who's an archlector, and a battle standard bearer. I've got a unit of 4 demis, a unit of 3 demis. Both of them have a standard and a musician. Then I've got a cannon, and then up top here I've got a Hellblaster volley gun. But I'm going to go back up. I forgot to mention I have a Hurricanum. Sorry, guys. Got a Hellblaster volley gun. Next to that, but out of this picture, is a Master Engineer. Then I've got a unit of 10 archers, and in with them is my messenger. So I'm taking the opposite approach. I'm up on the 18-inch line, and I'm just going to do my best to get him across the board. My thinking is that my army has enough threats that my opponent may not be able to justify setting anything after these guys, and that's kind of my hope. So I lose the turn to go first, and demons move up like that. He was very, very cognizant of that Hellblaster volley gun. Now remember, on the flanks I could put things up 18 inches, so if he wasn't careful with it, I would have been in range turn 1. And it was an interesting placement of the gun on my behalf. I don't know, there's probably a better place I could have put it, but I kind of liked it there. I didn't mind him hiding stuff behind the house so I couldn't see it. I liked how he was relatively protected from charges and had just a large swath right across the middle of the table that was a killing zone. So on turn 1, my opponent really didn't move anything up that the Hellblaster could shoot at. So I thought that was interesting. I didn't mind his troops hanging back. Flew the Bloodthirster over here to hide. He can't hide from both my cannons, but he can hide from one, and he can hide from the Hellblaster. So there's that. Skull cannons open up. One of them hits the cannon and wounds it, and then only does 2 wounds. The other one shoots at the other cannon, hits it, and rolls a 1 to wound. So I felt that could have been a lot worse. I was happy enough with it. And we go to Empire turn 1. Yeah, so you can see how I'm moving up there. I made 2 mistakes. I mean, oh my gosh, the demigryphs on the left. I put him up there not realizing that his bloodletter unit with the BSB could obviously see them, but that they could wheel and hit them. And they very easily can. For some reason, I just assumed they couldn't. So that's a move I wouldn't have made if I was paying attention. And then the demigriffs here in the middle, one thing I wasn't thinking is that his Bloodthirster of Khorne can see them. He can't see them easily, but he can see the top right corner of them, and then he's got a relatively short charge reach to get them to charge them in the flank, and that's kind of scary. Now, it's especially scary if he has something like a no armor save sword, which he doesn't, but I didn't know that. That would have been horrendously scary. As it is, with the current build that he has, I actually probably would have been okay with that. I think he would have torn this unit up, but I think they'd survive. They could reform and might do some wounds to the Bloodthirster. Anyway, looks like that. Here we are on the left. There's Capsis going up on the right. So the messenger is in the top right position such that the ruins are hiding him. It's true line of sight, and I just can't see him. So that's okay. It looks like Capsis is going to have to deal with those blood crushers. Go to the magic phase. I throw 5 or 6 dice at transformation, at final trans. At this unit, I didn't have a fantastic target for that spell. But at least, this unit had 25 bloodletters plus a BSB. I didn't get lucky on the BSB. You didn't roll a 6. But the unit took a big hit. And now that unit is much more manageable. And that's all I really need from a magic phase. I don't necessarily need it to take units off the table. Just make a couple of them more manageable. And that one did. I was very happy with that. We go to shooting, and the one cannon that can see the Bloodthirster hits him, wounds him, gets past his ward save, and does 4 wounds. I was very happy with that. Again, I think he has 6 wounds. I think he starts off with 5. Yeah, he starts off with 5, and then he got that +1 wound. But again, I don't need to kill him. Get him down to 2 wounds means, again, he's much more manageable. If he wants to fly him into combat with the demigriffs, 2 wounds can sneak through easily enough to be a danger. The other cannon didn't hit anything. We go to Demon's turn 2. So if you look on the left, his bloodletters, the BSB, easily make the charge into my demigriffs. I could have fled it, and the truth was, I think I'll probably end up losing that. But demigriffs do a lot of wounds, and so I think they have a real good chance of sticking around there. So that's what I'm gambling on. And the big news, you notice the Bloodthirster Khorne is not in the flank of the demigriffs. Yeah, so there's that. He failed it. I don't know what he needed. It wasn't much. I want to say he needed like a 5, and he failed it. I don't know. Again, once he got down to 2 wounds, I wasn't worried about him coming in. I was like, bring it. I didn't realize he had an always strikes first sword. I mean, he would have had like, I don't know, 6 attacks, 8 attacks, something insane. Just a bunch of attacks. Rerolling to hit, and strength 6, I think. Whatever it is. But, so he could have done some wounds, but demigriffs, they can always sneak a couple wounds through if you're not careful. His fleshhounds come on the board, and that was, I knew they were coming. There's nothing I can do with it, nothing I could do about it. When I deployed, he said he had ambushers, and what I heard was that he had scouts. So I made sure that he didn't have 12 inches to place his scouts behind my lines, and he didn't have scouts anyway. Had I thought that I was cognizant that they were ambushing, I probably would have put my war machines in between my blocks of troops and not been so stupid about it, but regardless, that's what I did. Let's see. Over here, the Reign of Chaos table kills a couple archers, and then his shooting opens up, and he takes the final wound off of the cannon in the middle of the table. Then his other cannon opens up and kills this cannon outright. It was about to die anyway, but I was hoping to get one more round of shooting out of it. Then the stone thrower on the back of the soul grinder lands a direct hit on top of my Hellblaster volley gun, hits it, wounds it, does d6 wounds, kills it, and my master engineer and my archers with the messenger both fail their panic tests. Like, dang it, that is an effective shooting phase. Ouch. In combat over here, he comes in. Really, his BSB is the biggest threat. This is when I found out he had the no armor save weapon, and that makes him really, really scary. He's got, 4 attacks when he's frenzied? 4 attacks when he's frenzied, and I think he only hit once, and then wounded once, did a wound. Then he did, some other wounds to my demis, and I rolled, I think he did 4 wounds. 5 wounds, and I rolled 3 ones, something like that. I was very disappointed. But Demis did a bunch of wounds back. I think I lost. I'm not sure. I think I lost, and we all stuck around. So I was happy enough with how that turned out. Empire turn 2. Yeah, so overall the board looks like that. Captus over here charges the flank of these guys. Again, I've got because I have a 1-up armor save, I'm fairly confident. It's going to take just a little bit of bad luck on armor saves. I'm in a lot of trouble. But I'm hoping I can win this first round of combat and get their frenzy away, and then hopefully after that we should be okay. I was really disappointed here. So the Demigryphs could have charged the Soul Grinder, and I'm really confident we would have popped them. That we either would have just killed them outright or done enough wounds they would have popped through combat res. And I think I only needed a 5 or 7 to get there. But the problem was, no matter what I did, his Bloodthirster was going to be able to charge me. Now I could if I beat the Soul Grinder and reformed to face the Bloodthirster, then the Bloodletters on the right would have been able to see me to charge me. So that was what I was considering here. And if I overran, then the Bloodthirster would charge me in the rear, and might have been okay. But I like the idea of just charging the Bloodletters instead. They don't scare me against Demigryphs. I needed either a 7 or a 9, and I failed it. So now I can get possibly quadruple charged, and that is not great. Over here on the left, both my units rallied. And presumably after combat, it looks like this. So I've taken some more wounds. I've done some more wounds. We all stick around. So again, happy enough. Captus actually does a couple wounds. I win, and these guys stick around, but they were not able to reform. And so we go to Demons turn 3. So yeah, the Bloodletters come in, the Bloodthirster comes in, and I think the Soul Grinder fails it, which was just amazing. He did not need much to get in there, and he failed it. And then the Skull Cannon on the right tried to make the charge. That he needed a very, very long charge, and he failed it, but thank goodness he did, because that would have really hurt. Yeah. Over here, he tried to charge these guys and failed. That's nice, because he certainly would have crushed them. Fleshhounds charged the Master Engineer. I failed, and so they failed. I fled, so he failed, so that's nice. If he'd rolled high enough to catch me, he would have got not only the Master Engineer, but he would have been right up my business, and that would have been scary. Yeah, so now my magic phase, because once the Demigryphs failed their charge, I focused on trying to save them. So I made sure I got enchanted blades off on them, and then I made sure the Hurricanum was up within 6 inches. So this is a scary combat, but again, I think I'm hitting everything on 2s. I take that back. I think the Wrath of Khorne Bloodthirster's weapon skill 10, but nevertheless, I'm hitting them on 3s. Yeah, so that's not as scary as it otherwise would be. There's the picture of the failed charge from the chariot. And after combat, yeah, he just snuck too many wounds through. And this is the danger of taking banners. So Demigryphs, when I fled, one of them died. So overall, I'm happy with that. I was able to put a 5th wound on the Bloodthirster. Had it not been for that gift he had, that guy'd be dead right now. Now, if you look on the very left, they put the original combat with the BSB. That unit is just totally dwindled down, but he was able to take the last wound off of my Demigryph there. So both Demigryphs lost combat, but the situation on the board is actually really, really favorable for the Empire, because all this happened on my opponent's turn. And over here, Captus actually peels one of these guys off. Again, I'm winning combat. He's passing doing well enough on his instability test, but he's unable to reform. And that black marker, by the way, means that they have 1 worse armor save. So actually only have a 5-up armor save. With Captus having strength 5, that means he's not getting an armor save. He's just relying on his ward. So we go to Empire turn 3. Yeah, this is a good turn. So my knight unit with my general, who has the speculum, it's able to wheel right around the Hurricanum and charge the flank of the Bloodthirster, which is nice. It only has 1 wound left. The Halberdier is able to charge the flank of the Bloodletter unit. That's just awesome. If we kill the Bloodthirster, the knights should overrun into the face of the BSB's unit, and I think that's going to go my way. And the Demigryphs rallied. I left them facing the flesh hounds because they're going to get charged. Very, very happy about this. Very, very happy. And the my archers. So my choice here was to pull the messenger out of the unit, and then maybe march the archers up to try to block this guy, and then just take my messenger running down the table. And for whatever, I just said, nah, that'd be more fun just to charge him. I've got a charge and a banner, and I might be able to sneak a wound through. And yeah, you never know. Things like that are fun. I won't normally do that in a tournament, but this isn't a tournament. So we got the magic phase, and I throw, I think, 4 or 5 dice at final trance again at this unit, and just do nothing. I think I kill like 2 guys. In the process, I lose 2 magic levels. No. In the process, I roll a dimensional cascade. My level 4 gets sucked into the void, and I lose, I think, 14 halberdiers, if not more. I don't know. I lose a ton. What an awful, awful trade. What a dumb move on my part. I have the game wrapped up. I don't need that spell. And I throw final trans on a tiny unit. Just dumb. Over here, yeah, these guys did okay. There's a couple wounds on that chariot. I don't think they did it to him. Anyway, if it weren't, he didn't do many wounds to me, and he had to take a leadership instability test, and he passed it. I mean, it could have gone the other way. It would have been fun. Now I don't think these guys are long for the world. Yeah, the Archlector just slaps the Bloodthirster around. They overrun to the face of this unit. Very happy about that. The danger of that now is that I'm going to go up 1. You see my Archlector's on the front left. The BSB's next to him. These guys are barely in range of the BSB. They're out of range of the Archlector. So they win combat, but there's a pretty good instability roll, and everybody sticks around. One of these times, these guys rolled Snake Eyes. This might have actually been the time. They rolled Snake Eyes, and the wounds didn't matter. So I expected that to go differently. And meanwhile, Capsis is just tearing things up over here. He just has to survive, win combat, and make these guys take instability tests. We go to Demon's turn 4. Yeah, this is like all in from the Demon's point of view. So he takes the Flesh Hounds into the face of the small unit of Demigriffs, takes his Soul Grinder to the flank of my Knight unit, takes his Skull Cannon into the flank of the Halberdiers. Will it be enough? Yeah, so it looks like that. Of course, the magic. There's no shooting. This is kind of scary. And yeah, so after combat, yeah, these guys beat my archers, which loses me the messenger, which loses me all the extra scenario points. So wasn't brilliantly played on my part. Yeah, so so here's what's happening. Bottom, the Demigriffs do 4 wounds to the Flesh Hounds, maybe even 5 wounds to them. It takes his instability test, rolls Snake Eyes, gets all the wounds back. I was not happy about that. In the Halberdier combat, because of all the impact hits and all that, the Halberdiers lose combat. They're steadfast on a 7 rerollable, and they fail it. That was a bummer. And he chased them, and he not only caught them, but the Bloodletters, there's only like 3 remaining, but they charge my Hurricanum. Meanwhile, my Knights kill his BSB and the rest of the Bloodletter unit, and they just turn around, or they reform to face the Soul Grinder. And then I reform and then scoot over to the right as much as possible, but by the time when I took this picture, I hadn't done that yet. He was finally able to reform over here. I'm still confident that Capsis is going to win that long run. Yeah, there's a better picture of the reform. So Empire turn 4. Now I just don't have a whole lot to do. I take my archers with my level 4 out of line of sight of the Skull Cannon. There's nothing else to do besides this. Yeah, so there's that. Now, because I think the Soul Grinder has 1 attack that can ignore armor saves or something like that, when I reformed, I had 3 guys touching the Soul Grinder, and so I reformed so that still only 3 guys were touching, because I didn't want my BSB and my Archlector touching them. And I think after combat, yeah, I mean, everything just stays like that. The Flesh Hounds are gone. The Bloodletters come in, they actually lose a third of their unit. There's only 3, now they're down to 2. I don't think they did any wounds to the Hurricane, which is pretty sweet. And Capsis finishes off the last Blood Crusher. Then he turns to try to face that messenger that's hiding. So Demons turn 5, Skull Cannon charges into the flank of the Hurricanum. I don't think that's going to go well. Yeah, now this guy's taken some wounds, but he keeps on getting wounds back. I think it's when he charges in and kills somebody or something like that. After combat, yeah, so the Hurricanum dies. I have my Demigryphs in a nice position, and he can't really reform to get out of the way, so the Demigryphs can charge the Bloodletters and then overrun into the Skull Cannon. I think that's actually a mistake my opponent made, because he made it such that I could do that. He could have reformed in a way that if I hit the Blood, I would have to choose between the two, not be able to hit one and run into the other. Anyway, go to Empire turn 5, so my Knights charge the Skull Cannon on the left, my Demis charge the Bloodletters on the right. And I'm really not worried about these combats. Yeah, easily beat that guy. These guys easily win, overrun. Go to the next Demons turn 6, we fight that off real quick, and the game ends there. It ended up swinging very nicely for the Empire. It still wasn't a huge win. I think it would have had 13 points, and I think you can possibly get up to 25 with the scenario objectives. So I need to do better with scenario objectives. Most of my wins with this list have been minor wins, which I'll always take a win over a loss, but I'm not crushing lists. Even with this, I tabled my opponent, but I've still, got halfway tabled in the process. Anyway, that's it. Hope you enjoyed it. Here. Thank you so much for watching the video. I truly hope you enjoyed it. As you know, YouTube has a variety of functions you can use to interact with videos such as this. You can like or comment on the video, you can favorite it, you can share it, and of course you can subscribe to the channel. And I encourage you to do any or all of those things as a way of interacting between viewer and producer. As always, I appreciate your patronage on the channel and wish you all the best.